What's up, Canuck fans? Welcome to the Line Change Podcast, a proud presentation of DraftKings Sportsbook, as well as a proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, every team, everywhere. Today, we're going to be joined by a very special guest, and we're going to talk all things Canucks. Before I bring him on, I'm going to give a shout out and thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, and DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of the NHL. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, well, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's just for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager. Tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright of the NHL 2025, all rights reserved. All right. Without any further ado, let's bring him on. Let's welcome back to the Line Change Podcast, the man, the legend, the voice of the Abbotsford Canucks, Mr. Brandon Astle. How's it going, Brandon?
Hey, Tyler, I'm doing great. Thanks a lot for having me again.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again. Good to see you again. It's been some time since we talked. That was, I believe, the beginning of the summer, so just after Abby had won the Calder Cup. How have you been?
You know what? I've been great. Very excited to have a 4-game homestand coming up here back at the newly named Rogers Forum. And the team's been playing a lot better lately compared to early on the season in October, November. So hopefully they can start off 2026 on home ice with a bunch of wins.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, just the other day, we heard Linus Karlsson extended 2-year extension, $2.5 million. Your just overall reaction and thoughts on the Karlsson extension?
I was just so happy for him because just seeing how much he's had to grind to where he's gotten to today, it's just been remarkable with his development, and he's done it the way that you're supposed to, where you just put your head down and grind in the minors, and things aren't going to go your way every single day. He definitely went through some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it was his work ethic and commitment to the craft in order to get better is what has shined through for me. He's someone that didn't pout when he was in the American League and probably thought he deserved a shot in the NHL. Like I said, he's just someone that didn't say anything, worked on his game down in Abbotsford, and then he really found his stride a couple of years ago, was their go-to player. He was bringing a consistent effort, and you knew what you're getting from him each and every night, which is a struggle for young prospects in the American League. They sometimes it can take a little bit for them to find out what they are. And Linus has been the same player since day one, and was very confident that his type of game could translate to the NHL level. He plays a pretty simple game. He's a mucker. He's a grinder. He's also got a great skill set in front of the net where you see him score a lot of his goals. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty. Doesn't have the hardest shot in the world. Is not the fastest skater, but he sticks to what he does best, and that is just bring in his lunch pail and work ethic every single night. And I know Canucks fans are loving what they're seeing from him right now, and he's someone that I think is going to be in this league for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I have seen recently some people maybe questioning, them doing this extension and not perhaps long term instead of 2 years. What do you think about that? Do you think he should have maybe gotten maybe longer term?
I'm not. There hasn't been a ton of body of work, right? So it didn't
Mhm.
really surprise me that it was just 2 years. Obviously, maybe his agent wanted to jump on his success he's having lately, which could improve his annual salary. And he got a good chunk of cash. Like this guy was in the American League last year, and all of a sudden he's making 2.25 per. That's pretty good. And at the same time, on the Vancouver side, it's good value. And so I think for both sides, it worked out pretty well. Would you like the longer contract? Sure, but that's not how negotiations go all the time, right? It's got to be a marriage that are going to help both sides. And at the end of the day, Vancouver thought 2 years was fair, and obviously Linus's side agreed.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Abbotsford this season, has there or rather, been any standouts this season?
Yeah, there's been a bunch. One guy that I've been beating the drum all year has been the rookie defenseman Sawyer Minio. I would say from start to right now, he's been their most consistent player. And to his credit, he got thrusted into a pretty big role due to some injuries and call-ups like Mancini and Kudryavtsev were gone for a while. Jet Wu was hurt for a lot of the year. Guillaume Brisebois still hasn't played. And so they needed this someone to step up and fill in for those minutes. And they looked to the 20-year-old Minio, and he's just been outstanding. And I just really like how he goes about his business. He can skate like the wind. He's skilled. He's got a great first pass out of the zone. He's good defensively. He's great on the power play. He can bring a physical aspect as well, and obviously still growing in that area because he's still a young guy that's going to put on some more weight over the next few years. And so I've just been so happy with what I've seen through him throughout this entire season. And another rookie as well that's really found his game these last few weeks has been Vilmer Ulrichsen. What you notice right away about him is his size. He's big at 6'6" and well over 200 pounds and can skate. He's got a great skill set. And he's someone that's still kind of learning the professional game and what's going to make him successful and hopefully get him to the NHL. And I really like the edge that he plays with, which I think will help him go a long way if he wants to become a full-time NHLer. So I think he's there. That's a guy that's still needs some time in the American League. There's no rush with him. He's coming out of the OHL, and like I said, still pretty young and growing into hopefully a very steady professional. So those are two rookies that jump off the page for me. And obviously, we know the likes of Mancini and Kudryavtsev of what they did last year, and they're still playing very well this year, and hoping and obviously knocking on the door for an NHL spot. So I know the season hasn't gone as planned, but there's still some pretty good standouts from some young guys, which is very encouraging.
For sure. Jonathan Lekaramaki, I know he's, I believe, injured right now, but he's really blown up the last few weeks prior to that injury. Your thoughts on how he's been so far this season for Abbotsford?
Yeah, he's been consistent, and like what we saw last year, especially at the start, he's been whipping in the goals. Before his injury, he had a 5-game goal scoring streak, and that's what he does best. He was drafted in the first round from Vancouver because he has a knack to score goals. He's done it at a high level in the American League, and hoping he can translate that into the NHL. And I think that he's got a good shot. Pardon the pun, because of his shot. It is pretty much unstoppable if he's got time and space or has like a one-timer in the high slot or on the wing. It's just about him still fine-tuning his overall game, whether it's improving defensively along the boards, 50-50 battles, just that kind of stuff away from the puck, because we know what he can do when the puck is on his stick. And he's a very underrated playmaker as well. He can make some solid plays in the offensive zone and find open teammates. It's just a matter of rounding it all out and finding that consistency. And like you said right now, Tyler, he is banged up, so he hasn't played since the team has come back from the holiday break. And hopefully it's not long term, because he's been a very big bright spot for this team since coming back down.
Sure. Speaking of Lekaramaki, Liam Ogren, a lot of people talk about their chemistry, having played together previously. What are your thoughts on, potentially Ogren maybe being sent down to Abbotsford to get some reps with Lekaramaki and reigniting that chemistry between the two?
Yeah, I guess I kind of thought the next time they might play with each other is in Vancouver, just because Ogren's been very good, and I haven't heard that they've been upset with his play at all in Vancouver. So I think if they get a chance to play with each other, it's probably going to be in the NHL. Ogren has proven to be a very good player in the AHL. He put up some good numbers with the Iowa Wild, and since the trade, I've really liked his game. He's been especially a shootout specialist. has showed the fans that he can really skate. He's got some grit and some skill, and I think he's really starting to find a nice home in Vancouver. And like you said, him and Jonathan go back to their playing days in Sweden. And anytime you get a chance to play with a former junior teammate or someone you played with in the pros, you always remember their tendencies. And obviously, Jonathan and Liam played very well together back when they're coming up in Sweden. So, just like a lot of fans, I'd be very interested to see if they did get put together, if they ever played, if they ever were on the same NHL roster together.
Yeah, for sure. Braden Coots, obviously he had a little bit of a run in the NHL, and actually a few hours ago it broke that he was been traded to the Prince Albert Raiders. They haven't revealed what the actual trade is.
Yeah, it was a haul. It's going to be a haul.
Yeah, they're saying like what, at least eight picks or something, or
yeah,
8 items. What are your thoughts on, or your initial reaction to that trade?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I heard some rumblings before the Christmas break, and you usually see it a couple times, especially coming up near the trade deadline in the CHL. Right, it's coming up very quickly. Or is it right now, or is it January 10th? I'm not 100% sure anymore, but I know it's very soon. And we've seen a ton of trades, including the Vancouver Giants. They just overhauled their roster, and you usually see about a couple guys, maybe a handful, go for a haul of draft picks for a team that's putting their chips in the middle and going for a Memorial Cup run. So. Obviously, Prince Albert likes what they see from Braden Coots and how he's played at the World Juniors, and are giving up a lot of their future to get him. And why not? With what he brings to the table at both ends of the rink, he's only going to help a team in their chances and hopefully going on a championship run. So, no, I wasn't surprised at all on what the haul is for him, because it's pretty common at this time of year to see those types of deals go down in the CHL.
Mm-hmm. How much are you looking forward to seeing him potentially be with Abbotsford next year?
Well, yeah, I guess we'll see where he lands, right? It's going to be up to him and the type of camp that he has. If he plays the way he did back in training camp this year, he might crack the opening night roster again. So who knows? But at the end of the day, maybe management wants to take things slow with him and let him develop in Abbotsford. Hopefully under Manny Malhotra, if he's still with the team. And obviously a lot to like about his game, like I mentioned, in the World Juniors. He just watching his game right now in the bronze medal. He scored a nice goal, so he's got some offensive upside as well. And kind of interested to see what he might pan out as an NHLer, because he kind of played up and down the lineup in preseason and at the start of this year in the regular season for Vancouver. Really excited that they got a guy like him in the draft last year. And then wherever he ends up, whether it's Abbotsford or Vancouver, I know Canucks fans are going to be very excited. And if he does come down to Abbotsford, it's not the worst thing in the world, because we've seen some great stories happen with the Abbotsford Canucks. And like we mentioned at the top, Linus Karlsson, he's one of those great stories. Niels Höglander, Pod Colson, the list goes on and on. We're seeing what Mancini and Kudryavtsev are doing, Baines, Oman, Max Sasson. It's just fine if players have to marinate in Abbotsford, because we've seen what can happen if they do.
Mm. Speaking of Sasson, he got himself a extension himself recently as well. So both him and Karlsson, both standouts from the Calder Cup winning team last season, both getting basically rewarded with contract extensions. Your thoughts on Sasson's contract extension and how he's been playing with the Canucks so far?
Yeah, he's had a great season, and very glad that he got rewarded with a nice deal there. And I know he was quite disappointed not to crack the opening night roster. And I actually chatted with him away from the rink in Henderson after the Abbey Canucks beat the Silver Knights. They started the season 2-0. Max was a big factor. He scored an overtime winner. And I just wanted to see how he was doing. And he's always a pretty upbeat guy, really nice kid. And he mentioned that he wished that he made the team and thought he did enough. But at the end of the day, obviously it's a numbers game, and he wasn't going to have to go on waivers, right? So it was a choice that the management made to just send him down and start in Abbotsford. And those 2 games, he was the best player on the ice, and I haven't seen him since. He's been in Vancouver and has been a staple in the lineup. And sure enough, he gets that nice little contract. And I think adding a guy like him to anyone's lineup is going to add a nice combination of skill and speed. He's one of the quickest skaters in the Canucks organization. I said that for the last few years, and now that Quinn Hughes is gone, he's probably even moved up the ladder in that regard. So It's great to see him, especially now, Tyler, get an opportunity. Like he's playing on the first line right now, which is really cool. And I think he's earned that opportunity. And it's he's still young in his NHL career. He's only going to get better and better, which is really exciting.
I'm glad you brought up Quinn Hughes because I'd be remiss if I didn't get your reaction on that trade. I know Canuck fans are probably like, we're still talking about this. But yeah, what was your initial reaction to when the trade went down?
I was pretty shocked, to be honest. Obviously, there was some rumors that it might happen. No one just knew when. And then on a Friday night, I was just sitting here at home, and it came across the wire. And yeah, it knocked me off my feet, to be honest with you. And looking at the package, I was very happy to see Zeev Buium involved because I thought him falling to the draft to number 12 was a disservice to him because he's one of the best players in that draft and deserved to be higher. So the fact that they were able to get him from Minnesota put my mind at ease because I have some very high hopes for him and what he can do for the Vancouver Canucks in his NHL career. So he's going to be a top 2 guy for me. And to see that they also got Rossi, a centerman that they needed, and another intriguing prospect in Ogren that really wasn't working out in Minnesota. So a change of scenery. Hopefully, will do him some good. And then they got a first-round pick. So at the end of the day, they traded a very, very good player, their best defenseman in franchise history, for 4 first-round picks. So I would say that's a pretty good haul. And this is a team that's building towards the future. And adding pieces like that are going to go a long way. So after the dust kind of settled and I really dug into who they got, I was pretty happy with the return.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was shocked at first, and I was like, you know what they got was pretty good. Obviously, there's somebody else that a lot of people are talking about lately, and that's Kiefer Sherwood. Whether or not are they going to trade him, are they going to re-sign him? I like to call it the Kiefer Sherwood dilemma. They can't decide what they want to do with him. Your thoughts on Sherwood and his season and just all the trade talk surrounding him lately?
Yeah, it's been an outstanding year, and he's deserved the hype that has been going around and the attention from other teams looking to acquire him. I'm sure there's a pretty long lineup of GMs inquiring about his services and what it's going to take. And I'm interested to see if they do flip him, what the return's going to be. We've seen some comparables out there, like we saw Marchment go for a couple second rounders, and you think Kiefer Sherwood's an upgrade over him. So I know that the scuttlebutt has been a first round pick. And I know the Canucks are hoping to get a good return for someone like him because he seems like a playoff guy. We saw it a few years ago. Someone that can just play up and down the lineup, brings that physical element with the scoring touch. And when the game gets hard in the playoffs, when there isn't a lot of ice, someone like Kiefer can really go a long way in helping you win a game that hopefully parlays into a series win. So obviously, it would suck to lose him just because he's been so productive on a very cheap deal since he's arrived to Vancouver. And to his credit, a guy that had to grind through the AHL to get to where he is today. He's a great story. He didn't quit. There were some tough times, I'm sure, when he thought about, is this really for me? But he kept his nose to the grindstone, like I mentioned a few times in this interview, and has gotten to where he is because of the way that he's carried himself on and off the ice. And if he does end up leaving Vancouver, like I said, it's going to be a big void in the lineup, and hopefully they get something good for him.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually just looking at one because apparently the Dallas Stars have been kind of sniffing around, and Maverick Bourque's name's been brought up. He could be a potential return. I do know the Dallas Stars do not have their 2026 first round pick, but I honestly wouldn't mind maybe Bourque for Sherwood. You get a center who can also play the wing for Sherwood as well. But at the same time, I'm kind of in the camp. Wish we could keep him, but you just gotta let him go at this point. Just in here.
Yeah, Bourque would fit the bill what they're looking for, right? A young center under 26 that has potential. He was a first round pick, I believe, in 2020, and worked his way through the minors. And the Texas Stars put up some massive numbers. He was over a point per game in 2023. He had over 70. I think he had close to 77 in 71 games. And then he was ready to move on in the NHL. Was a full timer last year, and I see right now he's playing on the top line. So Dallas definitely sees the potential in what he can bring to the table. And so I think it'd probably be pretty hard to get someone like him from the Dallas Stars for someone like Kiefer Sherwood, especially if he's not going to sign there in Dallas long term. So that's another thing that you got to bring in the equation. But yeah, he's definitely someone they'd be looking for that fits their eye. Talking about Vancouver's management.
Your thoughts on how Elias Pettersson's played for the Vancouver Canucks this season? I know talk about him has kind of gone down a little bit, but he obviously had that slow start, and then he kind of picked it up a little bit prior to him sustaining that injury. Your thoughts on how PD's played so far this season?
We are talking about the centerman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Yeah, he's definitely looked like he's starting to find something these last few weeks. Obviously, the numbers he's put up isn't what he's kind of hoping for or looking for. But hopefully, so did I lose it here? Oh, did we disconnect? I think we did.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, I lost you there, Tyler. I don't know what happened.
I think it might have been on my end. So
Okay, no worries. Sorry, I lost you after talking about Pettersson.
Yeah, the centerman. That is, I believe, where it froze on us. So yeah, Elias Pettersson, the centerman. How he's been so far this season.
Yeah, I think the last few weeks he's starting to find something a little bit, and Linus Karlsson's on his wing, so two countrymen playing together. Hopefully that can provide a boost. And when you play with someone like Linus, that's someone that's going to go and get pucks for you out of the corner and create some space. And so I really like how Coach Adam Foote put those two together, and hopefully can gain some solid chemistry like we've seen these last few games. But going forward, hopefully Elias can just find his old form. I know it's been a bit of a grind these past few years, and obviously the whole thing with him and JT Miller was taking up a lot of real estate in his head and all that. And hopefully he's excited about the Olympics being named to Team Sweden. Must be a pretty neat feeling for him, and hopefully goes into the Olympics with some confidence and comes out with even more. So obviously he's going to be a go-to guy that's going to play in all situations for Adam Foote. And we've seen what he can do in the past. Just a matter of finding it on a consistent basis, and hopefully a new year is some new opportunity for him.
For sure. Let's see here. Is there anything else? Is there any other potential standouts that you may not have, that or maybe dark horses for the Abbotsford Canucks for the season that could maybe get called up at some point?
Some dark horses. Well, Ty Mueller, I had a lot of high hopes for him at the start of the year, but he's been banged up a little bit, was in out of the lineup, didn't have a training camp. He was so good last year in his rookie season, was the selected to the All-Star game, represent Abbotsford in the AHL. Obviously was a big piece in winning the Calder Cup. And now he's really starting to find his game, and it's just a matter of staying healthy. So if Ty can put together a nice little run here, I'm sure his name will be among the candidates to get a call up. I know when Patrick Alvin is asked about players in Abbotsford, he usually brings up Ty's name. So he's someone I'm still very hopeful about. In terms of others as well, obviously the goaltending is they got two great goaltenders in Tolopilo and Patera that both have played games in the NHL this year. So obviously if one of Demko or Lankinen go down, either of those, especially Tolopilo, if he gets called up, Canucks fans should feel at ease that he can get the job done. So those are a couple that for me that some I don't know if you want to call Tolopilo a dark horse, but I think that he's one of the best goaltenders in the league when he's on his game. And obviously, it's been a pretty this year's been a whirlwind for him, being up and down from Abbotsford, Vancouver. He just had a baby girl, and so settling into fatherhood is obviously a change for him. And he's someone that I'm very bullish on his NHL future. So.
Mhm. I know the last time we had you on, we talked a lot about Seelovs. What are your thoughts on how Seelovs has played in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, well, he got off to a great start and then kind of died off a little bit. It seems like he's playing well again. He's got a new running mate in Stuart Skinner, so maybe a little more push in that regard. That he knows he's got to play well in each and every start because he's got Stu Skinner there, who is probably the number one goaltender. And they got another youngster in the AHL in Wilkes-Barre. That's a stud that's been up and down as well. So that crease in Pittsburgh is going to be crowded, and the Penguins are going to have to make a decision on Shelovs. And so the only thing that Artie can do is play his game like we know he can. And it's just great to see him have some success. Pittsburgh people wrote them off at the start of this year. I know I did. And here they are right on the cusp of being a playoff team. And obviously Sidney Crosby is doing what he does best. And if they can get great goaltending from Artie and Stu Skinner, it could be a team that sneaks in the back door. So it starts and ends with goaltending. And this is the time, Tyler, when Artie flicks it on the switch. It's usually at the back half of the year, especially into March and April. He turns into the Terminator. He just is a different guy. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does at the NHL level again when the spring rolls around.
Yeah, for sure. And find it a little the irony in Stuart Skinner being his running mate when he was the guy who he was facing in the playoffs with the Canucks a couple seasons ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
against Bakersfield.
Yeah. Your thoughts on Lucas Reichel and his time in Abbotsford so far?
Yeah, so didn't get off to the best of start. I'm sure he was disappointed to get the news that he was coming down to Abbotsford. But this is a guy that's put up some really, really good numbers in the AHL over his career, and he just scored his first goal as a member of the Canucks on New Year's Eve in Manitoba. So he can take that backpack off his shoulders, if you will. And he's really shown what he can do with his speed and his skill. And I think like now that he's got that goal under his belt, he can kind of take a bit of a breather and really settle into his game because the last few years when he was in Rockford, he was one of the best players on their team, which got him a spot with the Chicago Blackhawks. So we know the talent is there. It's just a matter of putting it together on a consistent basis. This is a guy that could potentially be named to the German Olympic team when that gets announced soon. So I know that's on his mind. And if he keeps playing well like he is lately, hopefully he'll get named to that team. And yeah, big homestand for him, especially with Niels Oman. He's been on the lineup. So if he can't play and Lekamaki's still out, Lucas will get more opportunity, more ice. So hopefully he can do some good with it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still pretty high on Lucas. Haven't given up on him yet. I love his speed and just how young he is as well. What are your thoughts on potentially Medvedev coming to Abbotsford? I don't know about next year, but at least at least the goaltending future for Abbotsford with Alexei Medvedev.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play a whole lot, but just like I talked to an NHL scout over the last Abbotsford homestand, and he said without a doubt he was the best goalie in the draft, and he was shocked to see him go that low in the second round. So that when I heard that, it kind of took me off my feet a little bit. I was very happy to hear that the Canucks have a very solid goaltending prospect and playing in a great program with the London Knights. Their expectation is to win every single year. And so he was able to win the Memorial Cup last year as a backup, and now he's the guy this year. He's only going to get better. And I would not be shocked if London season ends and he joins Abbotsford. We've seen it every single year around the springtime with their prospects where they're playing junior and college. They'll join the Canucks on a PTO or sign a contract and be a full-time pro. And maybe he's a black ace. Maybe he gets thrown into the pipes, depending on what the goaltending situation's like. So I would not be shocked if Ryan Johnson brings him to Abbotsford when London season's over. So we'll see what happens in a few months here.
Yeah, hopefully. I got very high hopes on him. I think that is all I had for notes. But it's great to talk with you again, Brandon. Really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we can get you back on again soon. And hopefully the Abbotsford Canucks can continue their winning ways as of late. any final thoughts on like the rest of the Canucks season and where the direction that they're heading in, or what was your thoughts on this whole hybrid reform, hybrid retool, uh, and just that analogy by Patrick Elvine that Canucks fans are talking about?
Yeah, it's there's still a lot of season to go, and these next few weeks and months are going to be very interesting to see what they do around the trade deadline. Obviously, they've made it well known the type of players that they're looking for, and we'll see if they can add those types here in before the trade deadline. And it's great to see some young talent getting some runway, like Tom Wielander's on the top power play unit, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. I know that he's kind of been in and out of the lineup, but he's still growing in his game. And then we've talked about some other Abbey players and Carlson and Max and Ratu. It's great to see them up in Vancouver and doing what they did last year in Abbotsford. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know a lot of teams in the NHL are wondering what Vancouver's going to do. They've got some great assets. We'll see if they want to keep them. We'll see if they want to sign them. And really looking forward to see what happens after the Olympic break, and that maybe we'll the management is thinking we'll see what type of team they have, and maybe they make some moves, maybe they don't, and yeah, it's anyone's guess what's going to happen here.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's good to talk with you. Hopefully, it won't be too long before we talk to you again. But yeah, once again, I really appreciate you coming on, Brennan.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Tyler, anytime, and keep up the great work.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
See you later.
All right, that was Brandon Astle, the voice of the Abbotsford Canucks. Always great to chat with him, talk with him about Abbotsford and the Abbotsford players. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little interview with Brandon Astle. As always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You guys can also find us on social media. Sorry, hang on. There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, go Canucks go. And I'll catch you guys next time.